Greetings and welcome back, one and all, to Rimworld and to the town of Oolong Rise. Where in the last episode I was a bit of a scallywag. I gave in to my addiction to cliffhangers. Let's find out how this fight with the mechanoids goes. We've got quite a few quite a lot of very well-armed mechanoids here to deal with. This is going to be a little bit hairy. However, we happen to have a Laura, and a Laura is armed with every mechanoid's worst nightmare, and that is an EMP weapon. Now, if any of you happen to be familiar with Star Trek, and specifically with the Borg, then you'll kind of understand how EMPs are going to work. There's a bit of a knack with him. Wow, that was an amazing shot. Okay, so yeah, that one's already taken out. Now, the way that EMPs work in Rimworld is somewhat similar to the way that the Borg in Star Trek can adapt to phases. That is to say that once they have been stunned once, that's it. They cannot be stunned with the same weapon again. And by weapon, I mean a stun weapon. A stun grenade. Now, they are only stunned for a short period of time, so we really need to get you over here. Oh dear, that is not a good place for you to be. Right, drop this stun grenade right there. Was not expecting that. We're going to need my grenadiers to step forward just a tad. You too. Sorry, but I need it. Please drop this on them. Please throw that right now and stop moving. Ooh, that's going to be bad times. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Oh, how badly hurt are you? Laura? Okay, you're kind of badly hurt, honestly. That was not good. That was really not good. Start dropping all of your ordnance on that location, please. You need all of it to take them out. Isildur, Jack, step forward. Yeah. There we go. That's one down. Very nice. And again. Now, that stun weapon is not going to keep them down, as I mentioned. So we really need to take them out fully. Laura, just get out of there, because they're about to come out of stun. It's watching. It just can't do anything right now. Hopefully there's enough grenades going in there that it's going to get messed up. There we go. Oh, that was not the cleanest engagement, honestly. Not by far. Megan, how badly wounded are you? You're okay. Alright. Alright, that was not a terrible engagement, all things told. We lost a lot of the resources there because we were so grenade heavy. But now that we actually have stun grenades... Also, I'm about to sneeze. Hopefully I managed to mute that in time. But as I was saying, because we now got stun grenades, it's going to be possible for us to actually start taking out our melee combatants. Because obviously, if we can actually just stun the thing, then there's no particular reason why our melee combatants need to be stood there with grenades. They can actually instead be stood there with their main weapons. And the moment that the mechanoids get stunned, they can just charge in and really take them apart. It's a very efficient way of dealing with mechanoids, actually. Zarakis, you're already eating. Jack, go ahead, grab this. Fiery, grab that. This will make sure that everyone gets everything. Okay, you're already holding it. Laura, if you could take those grenades back with you, I would be very much in your debt. Ben, if you grab that centipede, you could grab that centipede. That's going to explode, yes. Thankfully, we were slow off the mark, getting everyone hauling. Otherwise, that could have been bad. Could you take the silver? Zarakis, could you take the marble blocks? Rambo, could you take some of the steel? And Megan, could you take some of the rest of the steel? You're not going to be able to get it all, unfortunately. But there we go. That was not a bad engagement, all things told. It certainly could have been better. We've got a couple of wounded people, unfortunately, but we've also got a couple of the centipedes. We have lost the Scyther corpses, and we've lost a couple of the other things I fancy as well, but all things told, it was not a bad engagement. Now, at this point, with 13 colonists, I'm starting to feel a little bit more confident about the possibility of maybe setting up some specialization. And by specialization, I mean having people living where they work. To that end, I'm going to remove these walls, and I'll show you why soon. We are going to try and set up an actual bedroom and sort of living quarters for someone to be a dedicated rancher down here. And let's actually have a look. Who's going to be the dedicated rancher? Who's got the best animal handling? That would be Rambo, who is also, unfortunately, our best warden as well. Oh, well, you know, you can be our best animal handler. That's not going to be a problem. Right, the first step is to make some room. Laura is not happy. What's wrong, Laura? Let's have a quick look at you. You're hungry. You've observed many corpses in moderate amount of pain. A night owl in daytime. Yeah, that kind of sucks. Why don't you go and grab something to eat? Go get some food in you. That'll cheer you up a little bit. Hopefully you'll also go get treated as well, or have you already been treated? No, you've already been treated. Well, you know, at least that was done fairly quickly. Now, we've moved some things around. I'm not going to worry too much about the storage, just for the time being. We're going to leave that as it is. Now, first and foremost, I would like a room. Almost like a delivery room, really. Where we can drop off some meat and also the hay grass. That will then be like a bit of a work area for our resident rancher. And let's see. I don't want that to be where the animals can go. The animals should only be allowed to get to the kibble. Because really, given how much kibble we make, it seems reasonable to assume that we're going to have a lot of kibble. So, let's make an external structure. This will all be hay here, followed by see, if we have two hoppers, then there's no point in using a hopper over a freezer. But if we have just a single hopper, then there is a reason to it. We are generating quite a lot of hay grass. I would prefer to use a single hopper, perhaps, maybe one there, and then a light, and then another light maybe, or something along those lines. Maybe just one area of meat. We do go through a reasonable amount, so there might be it might be worthwhile to actually make a proper little freezer section. I'm not sure on that one, but I'm tempted to go with hopper simply because we can then ferry more meat across, and our rancher can be responsible for making the kibble. So yeah, how about we make this a very small little room? We'll have a single hopper, maybe two lights perhaps, or maybe just one light. I'm not really sure. We could have a light over there, for example, behind the hay. Just have a hopper there, maybe even some plant pots. I don't know. Trying to think of a way to set that up properly. But this would be our delivery area. So we'd have the hay grass, we'd have the meat delivered there. In here then, we would have a work area, and perhaps, in fact, what we could do is we could shrink this work area. So it would just be a bench there, maybe some plant pots or something. Because you don't need a very large room for this. In fact, we could possibly even have it there. Have a single light. Have a piece of a hopper. Have some hay grass. And that would be the work area. Though that wouldn't leave that much room. No, how about we expand this out? And I do apologize for doing all of this sort of planning on screen. I do try to do the planning a bit more in my head prior to starting the episode, but I think this should work okay. I'll just lay down a plan as well so you can see what I'm thinking. We'd have this area for hay grass storage, hopper there, a light there, another light, maybe a plant pot, and a workstation and chair there. Now this will be the work area for this. Now I'm fairly certain that the geotherm is a 4x4 structure, and that's just going to be an external structure, so we don't need to worry about it too much. Though I could, in fact, move this down here without any negative side effects, so perhaps I should consider doing that. In fact, I like that idea, so let's do that, just so we are not putting any additional space used up in there. Have that set up there. Maybe we could have a light down there. And I know I'm expanding the room as a result now, which is not exactly ideal, but we'll bring this out and then up. We'll have a connection. Sure, we can have a connection somewhere around there. That would be fine. And we would then want to have, where's my planning tools? Maybe a large collection of hay grass. Maybe that could actually be the meat hopper. We could have a light there and a light there, and maybe the door would be just by there. That seems to be reasonable to me. So this would be the door up into the barn, which would then allow us to have maybe a wall there, or maybe even we could have the door be there, and actually keep this room more or less the same. We'll just make it a little bit smaller to store the kibble, and then this would be the bedroom up here. We would replace this so it's actually just a solid wall. So the rancher just has his bedroom, lives in there, or she. This would be a storage space for the kibble for the animals. The animals will be able to go into the kibble area, but would not be allowed in the workshop area. Yes, I like this idea. Let's get that on the go then. So there's a couple of things we need to break down. We need to break down that door right there. I'm going to break down that wall and break that door down. Well, actually, if I'm pulling this wall down, then it's going to be a little less symmetrical anyway. So I'll actually cancel this deconstruction. We're going to need to relocate this lamp. For the time being, we'll reinstall it just by there as well. Okay, let's get this on the go. We'll have a wall there, and then this room will be the bedroom. It'll take us a little bit to set all of this up, but we'll get there. I'll install... We'll need to move some power around as well. Well, that being said, the power should be fine down there. We'll get this reinstalled there. This one reinstalled all the way down there. They should be able to reach comfortably. Now, we're going to be focused on getting this set up to start with. I like the door there. We don't need to move that one, but we can take that one away now that we have all of this set up. And we are going to put in a line... Well, no, we'll have a wooden door internal there. Since we're not going to be having any particular cooling apparatus, we don't need to worry about the speed that the doors open. So I'm going to replace that one as well. We'll have a proper wooden door there as well, just because of the authenticity of wooden doors in a barn, in my opinion, rather than limestone doors. Maybe that would work in Dwarf Fortress, but it doesn't seem to fit my idea for the way that this place is going to be set up. So let's get all of that done. Let's move up to the highest speed as well. There we go. We'll pop a wooden door right there. Now, as soon as these things are moved around, then we can get a little bit more work going. How's everyone doing? Everyone's doing reasonably well. Still got a load of work to do over there. I'm thinking that we might actually use this as a prison area instead, and I'm actually thinking along the lines of having a warden's bedroom there, and again having a dedicated warden whose job is literally to keep the cells clean, and much the same way Rambo, who I suspect is going to be the one that we use. I'm really, really favouring... Oh, well, Rambo is actually the best warden too, but There's quite a few people who are decent warden. Rambo is not particularly that much better, but in terms of animal handling, Rambo is leagues above the others. So, yeah, Rambo's skills will actually cut down on the work for the rest of the cleaners in the colony, because Rambo's going to be focusing on cleaning this area, because Rambo isn't going to have anywhere else to be. As a result, this place will be kept fairly clean. Now, if we could get all of this building done, I would be very pleased. Could you please prioritize working on this for me instead of whatever you were just working on? Thank you. I'm not actually sure what Jack was working on, but let's try and get everything sorted, shall we? Hauling steel. Alright then, you're building the hospital. I suppose that's a reasonable job. You can continue working on that for now. I guess everyone's doing a little bit of that right now. Fair enough. That is a super important task, so... Still, having this wide open to everyone is a little bit of a concern. We're going to want a door there as well. If we can just get the walls done and the door, I'd actually be completely happy with that. So let's force this just for now, because then the heat won't be bleeding out and we won't be wasting power, etc, etc. Evelyn, if you could work on that as well. Thank you. Thank you very much, in fact. You could work getting all of this set up and all the rest. There we go. Perfect. Right. Evelyn would continue working on the door. Excellent. I have no idea where Evelyn went. Not here is the answer to that question. Alright. Red and Gamer and Jack focused on getting the hospital up and running. Heater has gone down. That's fine. No, Evelyn is doing the work. Oh, Evelyn had to go and probably haul a huge amount of wood from somewhere. Ah, there we go. Finally. Okay, so that's the main part of this setup done. We could draw this wall in, but then I'm not sure what I would do with the symmetry. I'll be honest, that's the reason. With the symmetry of those chicken and iguana beds, honestly. So we'll leave that as it is. We've got a boomload, self-tamed. That's not exactly what I wanted. I'll be honest, you're going to be sold pretty quickly. Boomload, go to the barn, try not to explode. Oh wow, we've actually got most of the hospital done. I'm pretty impressed with that, actually. Right, hopefully we'll be able to get the rest of this done fairly quickly too. Right, we want some new floors in here then. We want regular barn floors, I would say, around most of this. Well, actually, let's use a different wood for this, just to give it a bit of a more interesting look. And we'll also use a mosaic on these tiles there and there. Over here, we are going to have straw floors. And that should actually look quite nice. We'll see in the morning. Laura's going to be working through the night, though, so... I assume... What are you off to? You're off to gather up all of the rice. Excellent. I approve. How are our batteries doing? They're starting to run down because it's night time. That's fine. What's Laura up to? Still moving things around. Grabbing up some more rice by the looks of it. Well, Laura, you're doing some excellent work with the hauling there. It's not a job that a lot of people do, and it's a job that needs to be done, actually. And you can have a bit of grub, probably not long for your bedtime, actually, Laura. You grab the last bit of rice from up there, thank you. And we've almost got all of the sterile tiles finished. That's the last little bit. So now Jack and Redneck Gamer are probably going to get to work on our barn upgrade. Hopefully. That being said, oh no, they're putting in the carpets. Okay. Is there actually that much cloth? I'd be surprised if there were, frankly. Alright. I am surprised. And the last walls are done also on our tree nursery. Excellent. Are you off to check? What on earth are you doing? Hauling wood. Alright then. Ah, you're hauling wood for the doors over here. Traders from Acrobat City. Excellent. Let's see where they're going to show up. Ah, Redneck Gamer. Paying his respects to Dudley. Well done, everyone. Keeping Dudley company. They've got some rabbits. Might take rabbits if you've got a breeding pair. You've almost certainly got a breeding pair, looking at that. Rambo, you're about to get some more animals to take care of. Now, a Vansidium small sculpture. Yeah, no. I will, however, buy the telescope. Now, we've got a lot of stuff that we can sell. The Boomalope is going straight away. We will take the youngest female and the youngest male. We'll take 2 of the youngest females. We will take all of your components. We will sell... No, we won't sell that. A nose. It's 496. There's 2 noses. I'll buy 1. And then I'll double check if we need to buy 2. Hyperweave, worth an awful lot of money. That's excellent. Get rid of those. Anything else we don't want? 79, that's fine. Okay, no, that's good. We are going to give them 566. Now, Jack, I know, is missing a nose. But, is anyone else missing a nose? Missing a left eye, but not missing a nose. Okay. Right, well, we want that stored right now. Where's Rambo? Rambo, where's the nose? Our rabbits are already breeding. Wow, they wasted no time. Living up to your reputation there, rabbits. Living the dream, some might say. Okay, let's get that nose stored. Fantastic. Now, it's going to take a little while to get all of that sorted out. In the meanwhile, we want to do a little bit more building. We'll build that up there. And then this wall across. This will be the area of the barn that our animals are allowed into. So let's go ahead and adjust that zone. You're not allowed there. You're allowed in there. That's the bedroom. This is the workroom. And you're not allowed in there. And just because I'm going to be really annoying and fix this, just because it looks better to me if I do, there we go. Now the animals can't walk on the walls. Not that they would ever have tried, because they physically can't do it. Still, it looks a little bit better. Right, there we go. Moving all of that down. Fantastic. We want the same type of tiling going on in there. So let's go to more floors. Get the slabs down. And get a bit of paving there. And then the hex paving in there. And of course we want to expand out this zone all the way down to that corner, and then just delete that corner where we're going to have a light. I do need to make that a mosaic. There we go. And that should be sorted. This bedroom isn't going to be massive, to be certain. I could expand it out a little bit. And you know what? I think I will. Rambo deserves a big room. It's going to be an important task. So you're going to have a vast room. And the rabbits are already at it. That is just, wow. Make many, many baby rabbits. So that Rachel has lots of food. Oh, more floors being laid. Good. Rambo will eventually be limited to this area. Of course, Rambo will also have access up here. Rambo will also have access to the hospital, access to the freezer, just in case. But generally speaking, Rambo will typically not want to leave this area for the most part. Why did someone's shield just kick in? That's a bit of an odd one. Alright. Now, how else is everything going? Why, Zorakis? What is going on with you? Why are you being stripped? I have no idea. Where is the... I think we've got... Yes, good. Let's get that installed as well. We'll have that installed... sure, we'll have it installed out there. have a couple of telescopes just dotted around the place, so that people can just stop and stare at the stars, wherever they are, whatever they're doing. Now you may be wondering, right, so when are you going to install Jack's nose? Well, once we've got a hospital set up, because I'm not going to try bloody surgery just in this hodgepodge of an emergency medical center. No, no, no. That is not how you keep your colonists alive. That is how you kill them. Right, there we go. Much more work being done. Good. We've got more of the doors finished. Excellent. I am liking this already. Fantastic work. We have got something. Jack has named Hair 3 Doll after being nuzzled. Aww. How sweet. Doll, let us get you trained. You can be a battle bunny. It's going to be grand. And we'll have a regular wooden door there as well. Again, because there's no particular reason for that to be a slowly opening door. Because all of the heat should be fine indoors. Get rid of that. There we go. We'll wait until all of this is set up, though, with the wood before we do any drastic changes. This is currently Rambo's room. Rambo, that's going to be someone else's shortly. I'll have to pick who I think is the most likely to have a mood break before I do, though. Also, I need to change the way the power is moved through this room. We'll still have it, but I want to take that up. There we are. It's a little bit better. Zorak is trying to teach Rachel, also milking cow 1. We don't have the cow actually named, which is a shame. Will you please stop stealing the metal that was brought over here, scoundrels? There we go. Excellent. Oh no, it doesn't look right. Scallywaggery. That is a shame. Man. Alright, well let's see if we can get the barn floor to look okay. I don't know about this one. That is such an annoyance though. My lord. Wasn't expecting that at all. That shield can be active as well. We can use that shield if anyone wants it. That annoys me a little bit. Well, it annoys me a lot actually. We do want this for hay though, so let's set up the hay stockpile. We'll rename it first. Name already in use. Get this one, delete it. There we go. And of course, clear all, preference important, and then foods, raw foods, vegetarian, hay. There we go. Sorted. Next up, we want to create a refrigerated hopper right there that is purely for meat. There we go, everything being cleaned. I'm very happy to see this. The alternative is I could put some sort of tiling around there. I just don't. I think it just looks so much better with the barn floor. That's a shame. I had really wanted that to be a different surface, but okay. If I can't do that, then I can't do it. We'll use barn floor boards all around this room. Except perhaps here. Maybe we could do something special there. Have a look at more floors. We could go for... No, we don't have enough marble, unfortunately. No, we'll just do this. And we'll place some mosaics there. There we go. Let's get all of that moved down. Thank you very much, Laura. Doing an excellent job there, honestly. Laura is going to be very important to this structure because the way we're going to set this up is Rambo is typically not going to leave the barn area. So we'll rely on someone else bringing the necessary materials and stocking the barn so that Rambo can continue his job. And that someone is probably going to end up being Laura quite a lot of the time. There you go, you can tuck into one of the nicer meals. In fact, everyone can afford to tuck into the nicer meals. That will be greatly improving everyone's mood, actually, which I'm very happy to see. Alright, there we go. Now, what kind of room has Rambo got at the moment? Rambo's room is a pretty light room. Okay. we'll go ahead and we'll set that up as well. There we are. And this is going to be such a large room that we can actually... we can afford to be a little bit more interesting with the way we set it up, I guess. How about... well... sure, we can pop this down there. We'll cancel these two. We'll have mosaics there. We'll have some carpet in here. Let's have a look at what colour carpet we've got. I'm quite fond of the blues. I've got to be honest, I am very fond of the blue carpet. So let's go ahead, do that. Get the check. Blue carpet at the corners. We'll go with the regular... oh, well, I say regular. The checker slabs in there. This will be the bed section, and over here we can have the table and just other bits of furniture over on that side. It'll be a very, very nice little area. Now, Rambo will still have access to the main the main barrack area, and as we get more beds out, it'll become much more like a barrack over time. But there we are. That actually looks really good. We're slowly going to have to replace all of that. Unfortunately, it's going to cost a lot of wood to do it, to compensate for my mistake earlier on in using the other type of wood. I really am a little bit disappointed that it doesn't have the really neat kind of texture bleed that we have there, but oh well. We also need a butcher table, and you know what, sure, we'll have it be a steel butcher table as well. However, I am not... well, you know what? No, I feel that a wooden butcher table, although it is less hygienic, it is somehow... well, I say less hygienic, but bacteria apparently can't live in wood as well as it can in steel. Because it gets drawn into the grain of the wood, apparently, and that makes it less capable of spreading and thriving. So we will go with wood. It looks more authentic to me. We'll also use a wooden square dining chair. No, I actually do like the stool effect, so we're going to go with that. Now, we will drop down some plant pots here and there. Let's go and have a look. Have we got any nice ones? We probably have. Oh, that's normal. That's normal too, but let's have a look at the art. Loyalty number 1. This work bears an illustration of Evelyn finally giving up under stress, seemingly without reason. She is laughing in the depths of her depression. The scene takes place inside a municipality built near a desert, and the work is infused with the idea of struggle, and is done in an impressionistic style. Let's not put that one in there, shall we? That's shoddy. A near hunger. On this carving is a depiction of a miller suspended in the air holding a shiv. The image seems to express utopia. Yeah, okay, I like that one. We'll use that. We'll place that one right down there. This way, where Rambo works is going to be pretty awesome. Let's just get all of that set up if we can. And in fact, looking at the time, I'm going to have to wrap this episode up in a moment. Time has definitely run away with me, as it almost always will whenever I'm designing something, because I just get really carried away with all the artistic-y stuff in games like Rimworld. I hope it doesn't bother anyone. I do apologize that the episodes do tend to draw on a little bit when I get drawn in this way. But that is going to be it for me for now. I hope you've enjoyed and will be joining me for the next. Do let me know what you think about my idea of having very specialist living quarters and work areas for some of our colonists. It'll only be a couple of our colonists. Most colonists will still do a little bit of everything, but a few will be very, very specialized in what they look after. But until next time, do take care, everyone.